show this morning, Groovy Gurus, is from a slightly flu-filled, man-flu suffering Guruji today. One of the lights of my life, the young Muhammad, sending out rays and words and songs and expose it. It just shows the beauty of his spiritual soul, his aura, his everything in words, pictures, and then more recently he started to give out little bits of songs and things. He's just incredible, an inspiration to anybody who's on the path. Even though very few people get to see his work, I get to see it. I get to see nearly all of it. And he says if one person sees it, it's good enough, because he's passed it on then and he's not the end of the connection anymore. I totally understand why he does it and how he does it, and it's magnificent what he does. It's beyond words how good it is, although mostly it's lots of words that he puts out. His example to me makes me put out words, and here I am giving them to you. And this morning I want to tell you, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's pretty much as close to the way you're supposed to do it as I can make it, like just off the cuff. I've been revising what Sri Prabhutna used to chant like when he first did it, and why he chanted like that, and why the frequencies are like they are. So if you can pick up on that way of chanting, then you're going to be a bit closer to what Prabhutna really wanted you to do. I've been asked by a very old friend to go and play some drums on his concert because his drummer's not very well. And I too am not very well, but I'm not as ill as that person is. And I'm very much looking forward to reconnecting with this old brother of mine. And of course, over the last couple of days I've been helping Eye on the Lion, the man behind the Ocean of Milk, and somebody that I play very spiritual music with, and he sings kirtans so nicely, and all I can say is I've been trying to get him to come and be my foil on the Groovy Gurus thing, and he's so busy, his life's a disaster. He's done so much fifth dimensional work that his third dimensional life is not really cooking, it's not kicking. And I just helped him get to somewhere where he's got a bit of refuge. And he still didn't have time to sit down and do the first part of me and him being the Groovy Gurus together. So I was thinking I'd probably do it like in one of those things where I'm at one side of the film and he's at the other side, because he's too busy at the moment to just sit and talk. He's always doing his own thing, you know, singing, live streaming or whatever, and he's trying to get some semblance of proper backing for his Love Aid concept. It's got this thing called Love Aid, and Love Aid is a bit like Live Aid, except he's not very famous and nobody's really taking that much notice of it at the moment. But it's still a really good idea, and some of the dragons rich people and entrepreneur types that he's trying to get in bed with may pick up on it and make it into something really good. And if he can get some earning out of it, then he's down for using that for really utopian and spiritual purposes. And I'm going to help him as best I can to get his music tidy and neat in the ways that the UK record business like the music to be when they're dealing with it. And I kind of know what that is, and I'm not sure that he knows what that is. So I'm going to help him do that. And if you're listening to this and you hear me saying these things and you think, well, I've helped many, many songwriters get their music out and get their life online if it's possible for them to do that. And I'm still doing that with people if they're interested in it. It can be anything from a simple bit of mentoring advice to full-on recording them, showing them why I'm saying what I'm saying, waiting to see what people say about the difference between what I do and what they're already doing. And generally speaking, I do have that sort of approach, although obviously I'm not in the major label music business anymore, but that's a kind of choice of my own. Wanted my life back, didn't want to be giving my entire life to a very corporate kind of business, and I didn't want to be caught up helping other people with their music when they really didn't see how important my input was and how good my advice was. And they kind of, as soon as they get a little bit further into that, they turn around and telling me it's nothing to do with me, yet they're all floundering or requiring boosts to their confidence or whatever, the things that are needed to get your head into a state where you're actually ready for success. And your music is a song that people actually want to hear and delivered in a way that people who want to invest money in music and do so regularly want to see it. And it seems like perfectly normal and sensible to me, and they all make this massive fuss over it, blah, 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 as if it's some kind of religious experience. Well, compared to meditation and opening your chakras and letting your light body come to life and connecting with other people who are really, really super duper spiritual, like I Am the Lion and Mohammed, and there are others, there are many, and that is so much more important. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi is very clear about this. Yeah, he says if you're not in the spiritual life, what are you doing? You have no idea the value that you're placing on everyday things, money and apparent success in the third dimension, and they won't complete you. It's all a distraction from the actual thing that will actually complete you. And he sort of smiles knowingly and says, if you're not in the spiritual life, you're not seeing the point of life. And no trappings or film that you watch, car that you drive, clothes that you wear, house that you live in, haircut, makeup, grooming that you might have is going to replace what is missing from your life if you're not in the spiritual life. So, on to that. I totally agree with that now, from a very, very well-known, clever, scientific, super duper realised self-realisation on the finger, as the Dalai Lama would say it. I'm right up there now. I wasn't before, but now I've done the self-realisation, I can safely say that, the spiritual life is the way to do it. And nothing from the third dimension, you know, imperialist forces, people trying to take your money or take your objects or things or any of that, can affect what it feels like for you if you've done your spiritual practice properly and you've done the level of enlightenment that is available. People have no idea what's available, and until they even just taste a tiny bit of it, they're all very disbelieving, disproving doubters. And that level of disproving and doubting, well, that's can only have been put there by imperialists. When I say imperialists, I mean things like the way the Greeks, Egyptians, Romans, etc., bound religion to their government. Yeah. So if you've got a government that's got the religion bound to it, the Church of England is apparently separate from the government, but it's not at all, because they have a queen. The Church of England the Reformation wasn't done by normal working day people. It was done by royalty. It's sanctioned by the government, you know. It's an imperialist system. The Church of England, what are you saying? It's just a joke. I don't mean to be disrespectful, because any attempt to get on a spiritual path is a good idea. But a church named after a country, surely the thing is the Church of Jesus. It's not the Church of England. They're not even calling it what it is. It's the church that Jesus made through St. Peter. And whatever twist you put on it, Roman Catholicism, the imperialism of having a country of your own, the Vatican, no, none of that is what... If Lord Jesus saw that, he'd be like, what have you done to it? It's all... There are many, many people who have given their lives, become martyrs, etc., in this quest to actually get their spiritual life really going, and stood up to imperialist forces, trying to get the point of view that stop making the religion imperial. Leave it alone. Just let it grow and flourish in its own way. Well, now their post-imperialist religion scenario in the UK, this may not be true anywhere else, but I am in the UK, has left the UK pretty much a spiritual void. I mean, there are millions and millions of Hindus in the UK. There's a lot of Muslims in the UK, and they do their own practice in the way that they always did, in their own churches in the way that they always did. Well, mosques, temples, whatever they call them, and our churches are empty, and the notion of, if I turn to one of my mates in the social scenario now and said, "Oh, come on, we're going down to St James's Church today to sit through the service," everybody look at me like I was completely mad. Come on, here, I'll try it with you now. Right. I'm not going to, but if I said to you, come on, we're all going down church now, you'd be like, Groover, go away. What are you saying? We're not going to any church of any sort at all. I say, well, okay, your Auntie Pat is getting married on Thursday and there's a service and you're going to it, yeah? Oh yeah, I'm going to my Auntie Pat's wedding. Useless. It's got the spiritual ability of nothingness. It's absolutely useless. So yeah, spirituality and the Church of England, whew, God help you with it. It's the amount of praying you're implied to be doing, the time spent praying, is next to nothing compared to a Muslim who prays literally 5 times a day for about 10 minutes or a bit more than that. That's almost up to the amount that you really need. And really devout Muslims pray for a lot longer than that. They've got a very fresh religion compared to ours. It's only 600 years old. And they're really on it compared to us. And they look at us and they call us names that imply that we're unspiritual, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong at all. All of these people in the UK they're more worried about their house, their car, whether their bank account's got any money in it. They're not worried about their souls. They're not worried about their spiritual well-being. They're worried about something else. So I'm going to be sneaking in all kinds of things that help whoever's watching get to remember about the path of enlightenment. And at the moment I'm making this mudra like this. This is the mudra for your root chakra. It's a really good place to start. Just do it gently at first, don't do it too hard. There's an electric circuit there. You see that circle? That's a completed circuit. That wasn't off, on, off, on. My work on the body electric says the body electric is one of the most subtle, wonderful electric systems you've ever seen, and it's able to receive and transmit the fire of life, which is a pale white light with smoky white light that you can transmit at will and receive from the universe at will. And that transmitting and receiving of the fire of life is the thing that begins your connection. It's a little bit of the beginning of the connection, and you can use any chakra to do it. I tend to use my hand chakras, my third eye, my root chakra, my heart chakra, and I just breathe the fire of life through all of those chakras, and that generates spiritual energy inside my body. It starts to kick off the spiritual engines, the spiritual batteries, the spiritual indicators, inducers. Those things are kicked off by using the fire of life, and until I started doing that, none of my meditations seemed to go as well as they do once you do start doing that. And you can use chanting, singing, Hallelujah, the name of the Great Spirit, native Indian drumming sound. You can use whatever focusing tonal sound you want, but the intention that you put on it, which is to connect with the universe, that's the key thing. So here we go, you've got your intention. Oh, I'd really like to connect with the universe. That's like saying, oh, I'd really like to ring this extremely complicated phone number, but I don't know what the number is yet. And your body's going, oh, somewhere, I'm sure I've got a file somewhere that tells you how to generate that sort of thing. Let's go on. And your body's got distant recollections within its makeup of the times from the old times, maybe, where it was actually spiritually connected, or your forebears were spiritually connected, properly spiritually connected. And, you know, in UK there are many, many things like Stonehenge and stone circles and places that are said to be holy and wells, and there are all these things that are the elements of universal gifts, and where men have listened to their inner voices, or they just have this feeling, oh, we should do this, or no. And they've done it. They haven't just gone, oh, well, maybe tomorrow we'll do it. They actually all got up en masse and did it. And that still goes on now. Then, not knowing seekers doing things that very strong spiritual engines are telling them to do, and they don't realise that they're being told these things, and they're doing them anyway because they think that they're their ideas. But when they look at them and try and explain to you what they've done, they're going to say, "Oh no, we just made that there because it's part of the tube station or it's part of..." No, no, no. Nobody makes huge Egyptian arches as part of a tube station. That is not why they do that. They do that for some spiritual reason. The viewing points that overlook Henges, they're there because the Henge is there, not because the tube station's there. And Green Park, in particular, I'm talking about Green Park now. When I go and make the Green Park film, I'll explain a bit more about that. But it showed me that the subconscious urge to connect by the humans is a lot, and they may not be able to know the way to connect. So I'm going to be talking about how you connect. I'm quite happy with my little self, even though my life, by my apparent partner and relationship partner as was, and local people here, the local authority they call themselves, and the local, the sharp end of this imperial government that we all live under, have all come and had a go at me. Oh man, if you knew what they'd done to me, it's unbelievable what they've done, and they just don't see why, even they don't know why they're doing it. But I'm not saying I'm any more of a martyr than anybody else, but the modern way of persecuting a person like me has been done to me. And if you know me, hardly anybody really truly knows me, but if you knew me, you'd be like, what, you did it to him? He was the last person in the world anybody would expect any of that to ever be done to. And so-called cool people, so-called semi-enlightened people, have also took part in it. And when I put it to them what they did, they all want to rub it out like they didn't do it. Like, no, I didn't do that. I meant it to be... No, that is not what you did. I know what your motivation was. I'm a very, very strong and clever empath. And I saw what they did. And slowly, throughout the course of these things, I'll be pulling their legs about it. I'll be naming names. And I'll be showing why these people thinking that it's okay to do that sort of thing to a nice person like me. Why do they think it's all right? It's super duper ooper not all right to do that. It's not all right at all. And this very sweet and, musical and generally groovy and helpful, millions of people I've helped with their computers, why is it that my own life has been attacked from every quarter? I still haven't figured that out. But I feel a bit like Daniel amongst the lions. I feel like when I was doing my spiritual work, the most difficult, I wouldn't say difficult, the most intense spiritual work, when I was doing the most intense spiritual work that I did, that's when I really started to get attacked the most. And I can't see it in any other way that it's the darkness, the unenlightened. They don't want you to have enlightenment. They don't want you to have enlightenment at all. And then it also seems that there's a secret few who do have enlightenment, who know a lot about it, who are very rich and powerful, and are the people who run this world. They don't want you to have your enlightenment either. They want it all to themselves. It's like they want the entire cosmic connection to themselves. Well, I'm here and I'm going to be giving away the cosmic connection, and I'm going to be pointing out how they have cheated you of your spiritual enlightenment. From the minute you were born, they've been on this gig of cheating you from your real life, your real person, your real true self. They have been imperializing you. They've been socializing you. And I'm going to be explaining why I think socialism is such a sham, and why having a job named after Job, and if you read the book of Job, Job had a hard time proving to God that he had faith in God, and they gave him a job, and they gave all of you guys a job as well, because that's what they do. They give you a job to stop you doing the work that you're supposed to be doing.